Good morning, everyone. 9/36/21/2020. The Sunday. Listen, folks. It's really this simple, but it's really not. Now, I want to remind people that if you're trying to share this post from my page, if you do not copy and paste the outcome of the case, if you don't, I get rid of this talk shoe, because guess what? You really think they left that up? Let me remind you of something. These 4 administrative rulings out of North Carolina were in 2012, 8 years ago. That clearly have admitted that all government offices are vacant, that all government officials are private contractors. Now, when the cops pull up in your driveway, or the CPS people show up, or whoever, or whatever it might be, anyone working for the corporate government, well, the courts have already ruled in black and white that they're all private contractors. All private contractors, people. Private contractors. Okay? This came out during the Ron Paul days. And let me, how in the world have we sat by for 8 years while they continue to be private contractors and continue to order us around and continue to pretend to be a legitimate form of government? 8 years. I thought when this came out, surely this is over. What a mistake. How wrong I was. How wrong many of us were. This is an actual court case in North Carolina that clearly states they're all private contractors. All of them. All of them. You know what this means for the cops and sheriffs out there that don't realize what's going on? They've been duped into serving something that they didn't realize was coming, that was there, that's been there all this time. For the police and the sheriffs and the people that get involved in these jobs to try to do the right thing and honor an oath, they create an impossibility. Private people do not take oaths to constitutions. You know, I see all these rallies going on, and I see nobody talking about what really needs to be talked about. And that's just, I don't care what argument you think you have. I hear people, blah, 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 Constitution, blah, 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 the Constitution, the Supreme Court ruling, blah, blah, blah. And you're a birth registered slave. It has no constitutional right, limited rights afforded to you in contact with private contractors. You have none. You're talking ignorance because you have no idea what you're talking about. But it sounds good to the sheep, so they keep baa, 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 and the sheep keep baa, baa, baa. And meanwhile, they're all birth registered. They're all dealing with private contractors that truly have no real authority at all. 8 years, people. 8 years. We have suffered since this ruling came out under the hands of private everything they've ever done since this ruling came out is truly an act of war by the supposed public servants. You look, I didn't make this stuff up. I just was a researcher involved with Rod Class and his party. I sat way in the back of the class and just absorbed it all. And here what I'm showing you. Facebook does not want this information shared with other people. I do not know how to express to you enough. I showed you in the last live feed where I tried to share this in a private message from a website. And Facebook said it was against their community standards to share the outcome of a court case in America. Facebook? Who are you working for, man? What foreign power are you working for to shut down the American people? This information right here is in-game, people. This is all the authority you need to go, hey, you're not even a cop. You're not even a sheriff's deputy. You're not even a zoning man. You're not even a dog catcher. You're not the governor. You're not the mayor. I mean, I didn't make this stuff up. But I'm telling you right now, they do not want this information shared out with everyone right now. Especially right now under the COVID-19, where the governor's telling you what you can and can't do, how you can and can't open your business. There are private contractors, people. This is no different than the ice cream man, as they use an example in here when it was written up years ago. This is the same as the ice cream man telling you to wear a mask or social distance or download tracers to your phone. Shut your business down, shut the churches down, stay home. But they're not government officials. He's the ice cream man. They do not want the American people to realize just how badly they've been duped by private contractors, working for private bankers, instituting their own private plans, doing what? Categorizing and registering the American people into oblivion. Weaponized licensing, trading with the Enemy Act. It is right now time to take a stand in this country. With this information in your hand right here is all you need to go tell. You would talk about defund the police? They're not even the police. And listen, man, we're all in this together. From the judges, the doctors, the lawyers, all these fake private contractors. They have to come to the realization that they're not filling a genuine office. This is on their court record. It should have shut it all down at that moment. Instead, they railroaded Ron Paul out of the way in extreme ways that we basically endured an attack on the political process and did nothing. At the same time, knowing that they're all private contractors, they literally had an army in Orlando for Ron Paul and his people. You get me? I was an hour away, man. That was when I knew the political process was over. And we're dealing with private contractors who are going to keep pretending they have the authority because might is making right. Right now, all the private contractors should have all their weapons taken away. They should not be allowed to carry a weapon ever again in their life. It's that serious. So that they realize how badly they were duped. You were duped so bad, we cannot trust you to have a weapon of any kind. You know, and that's not the direction we ever wanted things to go. So many of us have been online here pleading with these private contractors to realize the mistake that's been made, how they have been duped, that they probably don't even know themselves that they're private contractors. People, this is probably, at this point right now, with what we have going on in the world today, one of the most important pieces of information that nobody's talking about at any rally, at any protest. Nothing. This is off the court record, and people are saying nothing. See, because what you're getting are planned protests with planned speakers to make sure that the real topics never come out. Slip Sellers, you sent me that thing there, man. But what a waste. That's why I don't go to them. What a waste. You get a bunch of panty waist people up there talking out the side of their mouth, don't know what the hell they're talking about, don't mention anything of any substance to fix this country. And then they jam up the music and everybody starts partying. What a waste of time. What a waste of time, energy, and more escape from reality. Here, we'll listen to all this bullshit coming out of the mouths of all these stupid people. Yeah, I'm calling you stupid. Because the information is right here, and it's been here 8 years. 8 years this country has allowed itself to be ruled by private contractors. And really, how did we find this out? Because, oh wait a minute, all this time we've been ruled by private contractors. You think your vote counts? Then why are they private contractors? You see, This country's gone. It's been gone for a very long time. And the people that are sitting in the private contracting positions, they think it's a joke because they have all the guns in the cages and they have a monopoly on violence. And they will carry you away for anything they want, for any reason they want. They'll make stuff up. They lie. They plant drugs. We're at war, people. We've been at war. Just, we didn't realize we're supposed to be fighting back. This ruling right here is in game for this whole shit and caboodle. But if you don't pick it up and carry it out in the street and show Black Lives Matter, listen, you ain't dealing with nothing but a bunch of private contractors. Those are private contractors killing people out in the streets. Black, white, green, purple, yellow, blue, I don't care. They have no true authority in the way and the manner in which they're operating. All we have is might makes right, a monopoly on violence being led by the Bar Association, and this is where we're at today, folks. The Rod class is one of the best statutory administrative process folks you're going to find out there. Study his material, but look at this ruling right here. This is as far as you need to go. If you like being ruled by the ice cream man, being told to wear a mask, don't wear a mask, you're going to get a fine, you can't go here, you can't use your car, you can't have your children, you can't raise your children the way you want to, you have to get vaccinations, all by private contractors that want to vaccinate you. Am I being real clear here? If this country doesn't take up arms in defense of itself, you are in tacit agreement to them being a private contractor. I mean, we've gone 8 years now knowing they're all private contractors. Do you know what frustration it is to watch these people sit up there and talk, blah, 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 and I was in this, and I did this, and I was that. You are not anything but ignorant to what's really going on around you. And you think the words coming out of your mouth sound great because the sheep stand out there, bah, bah. You're just as much a sheep leader as the private contractors. You do not know what you are talking about. Now listen, it's extremely dangerous for me to go into a crowd and start talking. I mean extremely dangerous. Because some people, they're going to come at me violently to try to shut me up because they know what I'm saying is so damaging to their private contracting that they come at me with violence. But what they can't do is stop my live feed. And if you're ever at a protest and you have your little phone there and you call me up, all you got to do is hit me up, tell me, hey, I'm going to put you up at the mic here to talk to the people in this crowd. Ladies and gentlemen, I will be happy to be the guy on the phone on the mic. And I will show these folks in a split second how they're slaves, how there is no constitution, how there is rulings on the court record that prove that these folks are nothing but private contractors. This is a scary place because how do we take our communities and transform them away from the private contractors who want to hold on to it with a monopoly on violence? You got that? You speaking out, they have a monopoly on violence. I mean, I'm still dealing with attacks from my family and and their friends in this community of Marion County, Florida. Chris Blair and his friends, now he's a 3-time perjurous loser who lost his law enforcement accreditation, was removed from his seat as sheriff. Tomorrow should be a different day because even my own family were too scared to speak up, my mom being one of them. We have a situation so out of control that's where we're at today. They have to orchestrate things that they can control so that no real information comes forward, folks. They know the most devastating information to ever hit the ear of the American people is you're a birth registered slave under a bunch of private contractors and private bankers. Birth certificate, Federal Reserve, folks. Birth certificate, Federal Reserve. If you're not talking about this out on the street, you're not talking about the actual problem. The racism stems from the financial system. Edward Mandel House was master house over the KKK in Texas. And he's the one appointing the Board of Governors for the original Federal Reserve Board. Now, do you see how the black man or the brown man was excluded in many ways, and the white man was given a financial advantage? See, this is where the racism starts, because one feels more or above or gets more favor or financial help. The businesses, you see, the black businesses, they didn't get the help. This is the reality of where racism comes from. It comes from the financial system, not from white people. Now we're all equally enslaved under birth certificates and the Federal Reserve System. And you know, I'll tell you, the naysayers on the birth certificate, I look them in the eye and I say, hey, why does it have a QSIP number on it? Well, what's a QSIP number? And that's the problem. There goes the problem right there. You don't even know what a QSIP number is. You don't even know that a QSIP number is tied to your little ass, so they can enforce every little rule they want from their corporate ruling. And we have so many Supreme Court rulings, folks, that tell us that this fiction is not something we're bound by. Might makes right. Monopoly on violence. That's the only way this is getting done, and the only way you're getting out of it. I've been at this 15 years. Cash Jackson's been at it 4 and thinks he knows something. And I told him when he started this, you're going to get your brakes beat off, buddy, and you're going to figure this out. Or you're not. He already tried to kill himself. That's a given. And I completely get it. When you have this monopoly of violence coming at you and destroying you and your family, and there's just seemingly nothing you can do about it and no one that cares about it, that leaves a man in a deep, dark place. I'm watching friends right now on the verge of suicide because they're not seeing their children, because of private contractors and people involved in a private membership association called the Bar Association. I literally know men on the verge of killing themselves, and there's no one to call. I'm not calling the government contractors. They'll come and kidnap him and make his life even more miserable, depress him even more. But when women are allowed to just run off with children and then cut that out of life completely and start collecting benefits from the state that go, wait a minute, that creates a burden for dad by private contractors and people involved in PMAs, Private Membership Association, the bar, the lawyers. Where do you think this country is headed, folks? Really, where do you think you and your family will be headed very soon if we don't put these private contractors out of office that they don't even hold? Because there is no office. It's vacant. They're collecting the money and they're pretending to be the office holder, but the reality is they are not the office holder according to these court rulings. And these court rulings stand. They're not overturned. It stands. This is no different than the mortgage case where they killed the judge before he could put the order in, because he had proven, yes, he admitted, the judge said, hey, no, the Federal Reserve, and there was never any money, they just changed UCC to show the banks having interest in your property, just by changing the rules along the way. You have no idea what is coming if you don't stand up right now. They're working on taking me out of the way. They're railroading me on a felony. They want me out of the way, make sure I don't have any protections, and that's that. They want me out of the way. And this is my own family orchestrating things against me. I do feel deeply. And this is more vengeance from my brother-in-law, Chris Blair, who got removed from his seat because he's a liar. He's a proven liar, but they let him off 3 felonies just to not run for sheriff. Why do we not get a deal like that? Hey, I won't be the ice cream man if, you drop 3 felonies. No, there shouldn't be 3 felonies because there's no injured party. Wait a minute. Yeah, Chris had injured parties. Extremely injured party that he denied knowing anything about. He's a liar. He will lie when you get harmed. He is lying right now to everyone in terms of his calling me and telling me to shut up. Remember, he's not a sheriff anymore. Don't confuse this. He's not a sheriff anymore. That all has been removed from him. But they did drop the 3 felonies, and he got a cushy job with the school board in Marion County. Now, who in Marion County and the school board decides to hire known liars? Because this is how it works, people. These private contractors are all supporting each other and not supporting us. You and your family, your children, they don't matter to them. I don't care what comes out of their mouth. They're private contractors collecting paychecks, and they need to keep collecting that paycheck, so they just want you to believe that they are legitimate. When the court ruling here says they're not legitimate. We have a huge disconnect going on in this country. And the lack of knowledge, jeez. You're not talking about birth certificates in this court ruling right here. They're all private contractors. You done missed the whole damn Ponzi scheme. If the birth certificate's no big deal, why are people out here trying to correct it? Authenticate it. Get out from under it. Listen, U.S. Inc. never had any right to enforce, place upon the American people any type of DBA fiction of any kind. But because they're corporate, they knew they had to have that in play. That's the Federal Reserve. Your enemy is the Federal Reserve System in this country. And if you're burning down Wendy's, so you don't know what you're doing. And you're some controlled idiot who's just going to do the bidding and the destruction of the people who are supporting the private contractors. The same people killing you on the street. Federal Reserve, now that's a whole different story. Those are the people truly killing everyone, imprisoning everyone, stealing all their homes and properties in America. And this has been going on since 1913. And beyond that, but 1913, it made its way back in. And it's been misery for us ever since. And it's really misery now. Because, we're not allowed to let this truth out. We're not allowed to tell the truth. We're not allowed to tell the truth. No truth. And I'm telling you guys, instructed to do so by the 1933 bankruptcy. What am I talking about? What do I always talk about? What is there? There is nothing else to talk about. If you're not at the rallies screaming remove the Federal Reserve, then you support racism. Every time you use their money, you support racism. Remember, Edward Mendell House, Colonel House, his daddy, and Edward eventually inherited that, makes him the Grand Master of the Texas KKK. Who did what? Helped pick the original charter members of the original Federal Reserve Board. He's the one that helped put the Federal Reserve into place. And then what else do we have? Oh, yeah. Well, soon every American's going to be required to register. Can you hear me now? Register their biological property in a national system designed to keep track of the people. And what are they doing now? They're tracking us. I'm done with you, folks. There is nothing else to say that I haven't already said. And if you're not taking my live feeds and sharing the shitballs out of them, it's fruitless. It's fruitless. It's a tree that just cannot produce fruit. We're being controlled by Facebook. The information that we're trying to share is being controlled by Facebook. I don't know why. Maybe because I'm on a watch list. They don't shut my Facebook page down. They don't put me in jail. They don't remove my posts. I post things to get other people put in jail on my Facebook page, and it just sticks. It's still there. I'm just trying to show people what's going on here. Why am I able to post virtually whatever I want, and I'm not going to be posting anything that's not truly to help try to wake people up to what's going on, that they can truly become aware of how they're really being controlled. They have switched places with the average American citizen. They're enforcing their own administrative codes that are only meant for them upon the regular citizen. Statutes and codes aren't laws. Why aren't we screaming this at the protests? Why are we talking about the Constitution? The Constitution does not come into play as long as everyone is registered. And if you don't start screaming at these people talking out the side of their mouth over at these rallies like, Slip, man, you're there, I'd have burned them off the stage. I'd say, whoa, 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 shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. I would have put everybody in shock. Because if you don't do this, man, they're going to keep talking about bullshit, and then they're going to fire up the music, and nothing's going to get accomplished. Everybody's going to go back to partying and bullshitting and doing all this patronizing. Oh, we appreciate you, and and you're not doing anything. You're not coming head on with the real deal at all. That girl up there talking about my service and I was in the Constitution and blah, blah, blah. I would have burned her off the stage, man. I'd have screamed at her, you are a liar. You are a liar, ignorant liar. You do not know what you're talking about. What do you mean? Are you birth registered? Oh, they'll have to pause for a minute, I guarantee you, because they know what's coming. Oh, that's that sovereign citizen stuff. That's that crackpot stuff. Hey, guess what? You birth registered? Yes or no? It's a yes or no answer, man. We're going to put you on the stand here. You don't get to tell a story. You get to answer the question. Yes or no? Are you birth registered? Yes? Well, then your big fat ass ain't got no constitutional rights. No constitutional limitations in force whatsoever against private contractors. That's the straight skinny, people. I'm ready to leave this country so I can go somewhere else where I'm not hunted for a legal name. You hear me? I'm leaving this country just like Gavin did because I do not want to be hunted for a legal name. This country sucks. It's completely infested with liars and patronizers and people who love their slavery. They love seeing other people hunted through a legal name that have done nothing wrong. Everyone should leave this country that has the ability to do so. Because otherwise, you and your family are in extreme danger of being hunted by a legal name that's been created by the United States Inc. and the Federal Reserve System. That's your reality. Or, you take this topic to task and don't get distracted by anything else until this topic is out in the open. Because once it is, it's over. It's game over for these people. They know it. They know it's over. And I guess, without guessing, they must be figuring, man, this guy's message is starting to carry. A lot of people are picking this up and they're realizing this is the root of the whole damn system. They want me out of the way, people. I told you this in prior live feeds. Who's coming to protect me? I have not harmed anyone. I've not harmed anyone's property. I have not done anything wrong. And I'm under the gun of private contractors. Where's the militia to come protect me? Where are they? They don't exist. That's where they are. They will not step up to the pump to protect someone who's being crucified through the unlawful conversion of their name. They know they come and try to stand up against that, they'll be having their brakes beat off through the legal name that's controlling their life. That's your reality. As soon as I get done with this bullshit case they have, because it's just bullshit, I don't care. I don't care what they can only do so much to me, right? Because no one's coming to protect me or my family. I have to send my family away again if they decide to lock me in a cage for harming absolutely nobody. Why they're converting my name back and forth on the computer on David Ellsperman's site. That is an unlawful conversion right before your very eyes, and you're not doing anything about it. You're doing absolutely nothing about it except talking out your ass, talking ignorance about constitutions and Bill of Rights and Declarations of Independence and Magna Cartas. These are private contractors, people. They've stepped outside of the republic. None of these people in the de facto are operating in the republic. That Republican form of government, that one that has some sanity and documents to protect you, and nobody's allowed to carry you to cage unless you've actually committed a real crime within your party or property. You've actually done real harm. No, we're not living in that world anymore. We're living in that world where they can just make things up, plant drugs, do whatever they want, wage war on us. And so we do not matter. And I'm going to tell you something. You do not matter. Your children do not matter. Your baby being born in the hospital does not matter. I don't know how to express that to you. Your baby being born at the hospital does not matter to these people. They're going to do everything they can to get that baby registered immediately and take that name and unlawfully convert it, and now your baby is a slave. Congratulations. Look, the birth certificate involves every man, woman, and child. Nobody left out. You got me? Talk about no man left behind? That's what they're talking about. You think that's for the Marines? You guys have lost your marbles. You jarheads don't realize you're birth registered. And you're doing the bidding of the people that are registering the American people into economic slavery per the Federal Reserve System's plan. This whole new world global disorder agenda, people. Your life is about to be over very soon if you don't take a stand. You think I'm saying this lightly? Your lives and the lives of your children will be taken away from you. They're doing this COVID tracking. It's part of the operating system of the phone now. Whether it's on, whether it's off, whether it's activated, it doesn't matter. They put it in the operating system. Now you come around somebody with COVID unknowingly, the COVID police show up because your phone has alerted, beep, beep, beep. Then they come and they take you and they take your children, like in California, where the lady already had plans for her family to take care of her son, and the state took them, the private contractors, because they're not a state, they're a corporation. To call them a state is an insult to the de jure republic that was formed here on this soil. But even that was formed on a pile of bones. We had to genocide tribes that originally lived here. That is truly the crimes that this country has committed that it doesn't want to face up with. And especially the private contractors. They certainly don't want to talk about the idea. Listen, this is the same thing going on from when they built the railroads, stole the land, gave it away to white people. What? Who deserves reparation? How much land has been taken from the tribal nations? Geez, look at the map. Oh yeah, it was a slow, incremental, you got nothing left. You got nothing left. I got Blackfoot in me. I have tribal nation in me. I'm going to tell you, even the Republic was formed on mass genocide and murder. Is that something we should be proud of? We took their languages, we took their children, we shipped them off to schools. Are you feeling me, people? This is what's about to happen to you and your families. You are about to be attacked, and why do you think they need all the military out here? Because COVID tracking, and when the COVID alerts start going off, they have to start collecting these people and quarantining them and testing them and taking their children, and it's getting ready to be madhouse. And we've had this ruling showing us that they're private contractors for 8 years on the record. Where's Trump? Where's Trump on this ruling right here, while he's talking about this idea of having some authority to tell us what to do? You don't, Donald J. Trump. You don't have the authority. You're an ice cream man. Until you decide not to be the ice cream man. And it doesn't look like you're making that decision. Nor are you trying to release the American people from the office of person, which gives these private contractors free reign over the American people, their lives, their children, their properties. You and your families are in extreme danger. And a lot of people have been blowing this whistle for a long time. But where we're at right now, 8 years of continued allowance of private contractors committing fraud against the American people. Private contractors committing fraud against the American people. Telling salon owners and barber shops and restaurants and all of these non-essential businesses what to do, and they're non-essential themselves. Are you feeling me, people? Now look, I put this information out at the endangerment and detriment of my own life, because if you don't think the local court and judges and all these fucking shithead contractors are not sitting around watching me and listening to me, trying to find something to make up, to truly bury me, this is what they did in Colorado, man. They're coming at me again, and this is my own family. My own family. And people that I've known all my life, and they're turning their back on the truth and coming after me. They want me out of the way. They literally had to invade the property that I'm at an hour and a half after they got the call. I said, did they sit and plan what they were going to do for an hour and a half? An hour and a half. After the smoke complaint. And I'm carried away for a wildfire. Where's the militia for me? Where's my protection? Because I should be taking a stand against these people for doing what they're doing. unlawfully converting my name when there's a legal notice that shows I've rescinded from it, and have torts written in that rescission for anyone that wants to play games with me in the name. That's what they're about to receive. But the reality of the big picture is that we continue to stand by and watch the American people be carried off to cages and tortured and run through the mill and put on probation by private contractors, then we deserve everything we get. We're going to deserve, when you watch your children ripped apart from your arms as you're carried off one direction and they're carried off another, don't say I didn't tell you so. Many of us, many people have been on here doing independent media, but the problem is they want to talk about the symptoms and never really talk about the problem. They get mad at me because I'll call anybody out. You birth registered? Yeah, well then you're just a slave. And then you got your people out there, well, you didn't correct your status. I don't have a status. That's something being applied by private contractors. Doesn't have any authority. They have no authority to tell you you have to register your baby at the hospital. But not men with guns will come. DCF will be called. And not in all cases now. The hospitals, some of them have decided rather than cause all the drama, they just report the event behind your back to enslave your baby. So you have medical personnel or whoever they hire to work at their vital stats office at the hospital being used to create securities and give private information over to a third-party corporation, Vital Statistics, to create a legal entity without your knowledge, consent, or disclosure. And that's been going on for a long time, people. We're close to 100 years of enslavement, and that's why it seems normal to people. No, you have to have your license. No, you have to have your permit. No, you have to have your permission from private contractors that have no authority. I hope this is helping people out. And listen, guys, if you think there's any value to this live feed, go play it to an audience out there at one of these protests. Get a speaker system, put the phone up there, press play. Hey, listen to what this guy's talking about. It's that simple. That's why I do this. But if you don't use the material, if you don't use the voice that I am using right now to call out to the American people and tell them, it's about to be game time. We're on the edge of game time. I don't think anything's good coming for us. Those are all stories. It's all false hopes, because that's what these people deal in. They deal in false hope to keep you in check. But what you got coming, people, it ain't funny. You realize that I have served whitehouse.gov with the termination of the SSK Trust and the birth certificate, right? It's on YouTube. I did a film on I did a feed on it on my YouTube on River of Life News. It's got thousands of people that have witnessed that I've sent to whitehouse.gov, and they acknowledge they received it. That's called proper service now. They can just send you an email, and if you open it, that's considered service now. A lot of people don't know that, but they're only using that in one direction, the lawyers. I found this out from a lawyer sending emails and saying this is proper service. Sending emails to someone else who they just appointed to be the middleman for us. What? Corey, the guy in Colorado, you tell him, man, if he listens to this shit and he hears what's going on and he wants to look into the case in Colorado where they stole the estate from my mom through threats, coercion, and duress, it's even on the emails. It's so much proof of this. Cindy Leiden should be in jail, but I don't know the lawyers go up against other lawyers. This is where we're at. Family law. Look, when I had the judge completely exposed here, that removed my son ex parte and didn't allow a hearing, my brother-in-law is the undersheriff, Chris Blair now. And get this, everybody's getting word of what's going on. Right? Hey, guess what all the lawyers said? Any lawyer I spoke to, no, I have a business to run in this town. I can't help you with this. You know how many lawyers in Ocala, Florida, Marion County told me, I can't help you with this? And the one that told me he was going to help me, Charles Holloman, he was actually friends with Chris and fed me to the child support people when he said he was going to go in and get this all fixed and get my son back. That's how these fucking people work. That's how they work. They will destroy your life and think it's funny for their friends. They think they're doing my sister and her husband Chris a favor. My sister Sanji's losing her mind. Losing her mind. And I don't know why she keeps following this man. He is a piece of junk. He's a proven liar. He's a thief. They're thieves. They committed insurance fraud. Oh, we'll say the purse got stolen and had $3,000 in it. We're cops. Who's going to question it? That's what they did. They did that from my mom's driveway. Well, we'll just say the purse got stolen here, and we'll say it had $3,000 in it. It's the holidays. They get away with it. They just get away with whatever they want. You people have no idea. Have no idea. But what you do have an idea of is four administrative rulings admitting that they're all private contractors, and these are the people controlling your lives and the lives of your children. So if you are so weak and cowardly that you can't take this court ruling and the authority that it has and figure this out, that none of these people have a right to tell you anything. Nothing. Nothing. Not to social distance, not to wear a mask, nothing. They have zero authority, people. That's why they keep creating all these grand distractions. Racism being the biggest one, and I'm telling you, the biggest racist organization that we deal with today that makes our money, that prints the money, was Grandmaster House from 1913. And if you don't think the KKK and the racist people have been controlling the financial system for all this time, you don't know where racism comes from. Look, I got friends of color, and I never heard about this, man. No, I never knew this. I got senior men of color who are contacting me and going, man, I thought I really had an idea what was going on. I said, no, most people don't. And they work real hard to keep that hidden, keep us distracted, keep us pitted against one another. Let me tell you something. The brown man and the white man come together against the Federal Reserve System, and you save this country. You save your children from the slavery that's been going on since the Federal Reserve parked its butt back here in this country. Every man, woman, and child should attack the Federal Reserve System with everything they got. You're all enslaved by the Federal Reserve. The birth certificate, the idea of declaring you an enemy in the U.S. citizen arena, all created by the Federal Reserve System. The biggest enemy of the American people is the Federal Reserve System, the private bankers, those printing our money, the money changers who Jesus would have whipped right out of the way. There'd have been absolutely zero tolerance for anybody playing that game. Even God himself sat down and premeditatively made a whip of tassels and went and chased them out. That's biblical stuff. What's it say in Revelations about those not accepting these marks or accepting the private contractors? Because that's who they are. These are the people applying the mark. These are the people controlling the people with the mark. And your mark is the legal name. Go try to do business without it and see what happens. You'll have a very hard time because everyone's been indoctrinated into, well, if you don't have this state ID and you don't have these legal names and these adhesion contracts, well, you might have rights, so we can't talk to you. Rod Class Sports Administrative ruling, people. They have absolutely zero authority according to their own court rulings, and you people are still listening to them. I'm going to let you go now. I love you all. I have to start making new arrangements for my family and start dealing this thing out by myself because nobody's coming to help. Nobody's coming to stand by. Nobody's coming to stand outside. Nobody will be outside the jail. I was in the jail for 4 days. Where were you people? You know I was taken away without any injured party. It's on video. You know that there was no wildfire, so you're sitting by watching crimes be committed against me and my family by private contractors. It's that simple. I don't know where else you go with this. So when I get done dealing this shit out, I'm getting the fuck out of this stupid country because that way I can go somewhere where I don't have a profitable legal name for them to kidnap me over. I'd have to actually really do something wrong to even get these people's attention. Because nobody's willing to stand up and protect each other from private contractors run amok with a monopoly on violence, with a monopoly on cages and prisons. Nobody's willing to take a stand and protect each other. No one. And for us that have, we've gotten our brakes beat off. Many have been sent to prison. Look what happened out there at the Malheur Refuge. Look what happened to Ammon Bundy and the Hammonds. This thing's gone, man. It's gone, and you guys you're gonna keep listening to private contractors. That's what you're going to choose to do, is to continue to listen to people who have no authority, and then support people with no authority to take authority over other people. Y'all have fun with that. I hope this is helping you out. But if you don't put this out on the street, if you don't get this message out, if you don't get this past all the distractions and get it to the real people that want to hear the real truth, because they're there in those crowds. Not all of them. You have detractors in the crowds. That's why they fire up the music and everything becomes a block party, man. I seen them at D.C. jumping on the stage, you know, patting their crotch like they were on some rap show. It's like, what are you guys doing? You got people dying and suffering in ways unimaginable. And you guys are up here having a block party and listening to music and thinking this is all fun and games? That's what it shows. The American people really aren't serious about their freedom. If the American people were serious about their freedom, they'd be taken to the streets, every man, woman, and child ever to be registered. Everybody. What do you mean you can't take your kids to a protest? Hey, guess what? They're victims of the private contractors, the private bankers that have them registered, that got you to register. Where are we going in this country, people? Where are we going? I'm out. I'm done with it. I've done 15 years of this and nothing's changed. It's only gotten worse. Even with all the hard-hitting facts and information that we have, nobody's listening. Nobody's taking the real stand. And they're talking ignorance like they have some type of a constitutionally limited government, and they don't. They have a bunch of private contractors that are ruling your life, ruling your day, stealing your children, stealing your cars, stealing your homes, stealing your substance, stealing your wealth, stealing your energy, because that's what these people are. They're little energy leeches. And like I said, though, a lot of them don't know they're just private contractors. They think they're legitimate government people. I took an oath to the Constitution. I support the Republic. That doesn't even exist. So I wish you the best. Folks, I'm out. That's it. You cannot share this unless you copy and paste it. If you just try to do this, you get this. Thank you. Yeah, happy Father's Day, man. I don't do Daddy Day. I don't do any calendar days, man. That's all been created by someone else. This ain't no different than the birth certificate, Johnny. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, guys. I know we've all been brought up in this day and that day and this day and all that crap. I'm Daddy every day. That's that. And whether I see my kids or don't see my kids, I'm Dad. You know, ask any dad that's not seeing his kids, but I appreciate it, Johnny. I just don't go where... I don't follow a calendar. That's as simple as I put it. I don't do it. I don't do Easter. I don't Christmas. And let me tell you something. This has been for a really, really long time. Because when my son was ex parte removed and Chris found out about it, Chris Blair, him and my sister told my mom, well, he doesn't celebrate holidays. We don't think he offers a normal life, so we really don't care that Devin got taken away. So if you're Jewish or you're Jehovah's Witness or any of those things here in Ocala, Florida, you know, at the time of Blair, well, if you didn't celebrate holidays the way they do, just completely outrageous, fake, then you don't get afforded protections. You deserve to have your child kidnapped. He deserved to be placed into homelessness. All the bad things that went on. I'm out, people. Yeah, it is hard to read on the video, Kim.